This video is for AAAI 26 demo submission. The current landscape of benchmarking is still very heavily reliant on leaderboard scores. Many of us take the state-of-the-art performing LLMs and try to apply them for our custom tasks, which mostly never reflect the same scores as shown in these boards, leading to a concept of benchmarking incongruence. The impact of blind trust in these scores leads to utilization of suboptimal models and RAG techniques for our custom domain tasks. The solution? Having in-situ evaluation paradigm as a major deciding factor for selecting our models and techniques. In-situ being Latin for on-site. Having such real-time evaluations performed in a subset of our dataset with over 250K rows led to reducing our costs and time by a very marginal factor, while still providing a good idea of the current setup's performance. All brought in together, you have In-Situ Eval, a modular, customizable, and real-time evaluation toolkit that provides users with selectable subsampling techniques, evaluation suites, and with intermediate downloadable reports and results. Let's check out the interface. On accessing the interface, you are faced with a configuration panel on the left and a dataset preview and output panel on the right. The first section of the configuration panel is a mode selector. This lets you choose between two different modes of executing the whole pipeline. One is the dataset mode, in which it is presumed that you already have the predicted values. The other is the retrieval mode, which goes through the RAG pipeline with selected LLM providers and their configurable parameters. For our use case and the first example, we shall examine with dataset mode, and we shall be uploading two datasets to the dataset orchestrator. In the dataset orchestrator, you also have an option of choosing your own custom log levels. And here we can see in the dataset preview on the right, question, context, and response triple. The next step is to select our subsampling technique. There are 8 subsampling techniques that are present with its own configurable parameters. For our use case this time, we shall be going with uniform random with seed at 42 and 100 rows per dataset. 8 subsampling techniques that are present with it. Now we finally select our evaluation metrics from the suites of evaluations, which are both generic and RAG-centric. Now for this example execution, we shall select all of the metrics that are present. Finally, you also have a robustness check, where you can run the same experiment for multiple trials. And for this execution, we'll just keep it at single trial. We can now see that in dataset mode, it has taken about 14 seconds for this execution to complete, with respective metrics of base 1, base 2, and our 3 pre-selected baselines, displaying scores for all the metrics that were selected. You also have an option to download reports, comprehensive reports that are generated at intermediary stages and at the final stage for the entire execution pipeline. We can now see that in dataset mode, it has taken about 14 seconds for this. Now in the retrieval mode, we then update in the datasets here, and we can see there is question, context, and response with no predicted, which will be generated in our retrieval settings. So with our API key, temperature set to be at 0.5, top P and max tokens, and Raptor to be our retrieval technique with 6 clusters. Instead of having all the evaluation suites, we'll just be selecting few out of all. And let's run the pipeline. Grok and Llama 3.1 and Raptor as a technique, it took us about 32 seconds approx. And here are our selected scores that we ran for. Grok and Llama 3.1 and this interface aims to give users flexibility in terms of choosing their own custom evaluation techniques, in terms of choosing their providers and models. This interface aims to, and with any plethora of subsampling techniques also provided, we aim to provide users with a toolkit that is customizable to their configurations and provides them with quick feedback on how their datasets stand with respect to the baselines in less than a minute.